Agency in Motion Continuing Education Series. This is a series for agents, advisors, producers, and agency builders in the financial services industry, brought to you by Millionaire Mindset Life. Today's episode is all about sink or swim. It's helping our clients navigate this new financial environment to help them find the success or the outcomes they're looking for versus just doing nothing and drifting into that unknown future environment that really nothing good is going to come from. First of all, if you understand what you're doing and it's timely, valuable, needed information, education, plans of action, then you need to go out and you need to promote your business to absolutely everyone that you know and you meet. If you don't believe in your business, neither will anyone else. So you need to get in the habit of talking about not products and services, but actually the endpoints of what you're creating for other people and how you can possibly help them. Remember, if you don't believe in your product, your service, what you're doing for people, you're never actually going to go out there and talk about it. And if you can't talk about what you do, if you're not proud of what you do, you're not going to have a successful business in this industry. And the other thing is you need to frame your conversations around helping people understand why what you do is something they need to pay attention to. So when you're framing your conversation, are they frustrated by higher interest rates? Are they struggling with inflation? Are they just worried about their financial situation now going forward, retirement? Do any of these issues ring true to you? Because this is the stuff people are worried about. If you can get in front of people, helping them understand you have legitimate solutions to problems that you just framed, it's going to open the floodgates for your business. You just need to talk about, once again, not products and services, but in benefits, how you help people. You need to lead with customer obsession. You know, a lot of the great companies, especially the technology companies over the past 25 years, have really led with customer obsession. And when you get obsessed about helping people, the money's going to follow. When we say customer obsessed, that's about the mission, the focus, and the results, and helping people with financial literacy, helping people understand how money works, helping people with money milestones, helping people put together the building blocks of a successful financial plan. Understand the buyer's journey. Remember, it's from discovery to consideration to decision. And with each one of those three blocks, you have somebody who's coming to you who's unaware. And now you're going to help them become problem aware, then solution aware, then product aware, and then most aware. So focus on the problems, then focus on the solutions, then go to the value and the need, the solutions and features, and the evaluation. Discovery, consideration, decision. Because we're all going to end up a statistic, and what we do now is going to have a direct impact on, where we fall in the statistic. So we're going to fall into the herd. There's nothing good that comes out of that herd mentality and just following along with the herd. Or are we going to be one of those statistics where people look at it, hey, what did this person do to become successful? We're all going to be statistics. Which one are we going to be? Which side of the fence are we going to land on? That's going to be determined by what we do now and what we do going forward to either create a desired financial end outcome with a plan of action and a legitimate path to get there, or like we talk about, just drifting with no plan of action into whatever happens. You will be the statistic. The only question remains, what statistic? Money is important to everyone, and you have to be able to cut through it. If somebody says money's not important, you're probably talking to somebody who's broke, but also you're talking to somebody who's been taught with a fixed mindset to fear money. Money's the root of all evil, all of those things. Money's a tool. It can do great things. It can do terrible things, but money is important to everyone all the time, especially now as the cost of capital raises, interest rates rise, money gets more expensive. Money never changes in terms of the importance, but right now it is extremely important because people are facing a radically different environment than most of the last 20 plus years. So does somebody have a plan in place? Remember, a goal without a plan is just a wish. If somebody has a plan in place with your help and they have execution of that plan, they're going to start to build results. And those results can contain control, peace of mind, dignity, a decent standard of living in retirement. On the other hand, you have to help people understand if they don't have a plan of action, those are just wishes. And if they leave their financial future up to chance, what's the end result of that? What's the end result if somebody need to lose weight and they do nothing? They just continue down to do the same thing. They're not going to lose weight. They're not going to get into optimal health like their doctor wants them to be, to avoid all of these things that are coming down the pipeline for their health. Financial health is the same reason. Somebody does nothing to improve their financial health is only going to get worse. So if they have a plan of action and execution, they are building something they want. If they have no plan of action and execution, that's just a wish. They're going to drift. They're not going to get what they want. And what is that end result? You have to paint those pictures, because people a lot of times have a misconception. If they do nothing, something magical is just going to happen. You have to break down that wall and help them with why. Why are you doing this? Why are you not doing this? Why did you do this in the past? Why is one of the greatest ways to continue a conversation, get more information, uncover more things that will help you insert yourself into the conversation with a solution and a plan of action. Why is a great, it's a short word. It's an easy word. Just keep peppering the conversation with why. Why did you do that in the past? Why would you do that in the future? Why are you doing that now? Why did you make that choice? And why are you waiting? This is one of the greatest things that people, don't understand, is that you are in control. If you don't do anything, your financial future is going to be chaotic. It's going to be messy. It's not going to be something you want. However, if you grab a hold of this now and you start having a plan of action and execution, you can develop a financial future that you're actually excited about. Procrastination. We all love to procrastinate. Why? Because it's got an immediate gratification. I don't have to worry about this right now. I can stop thinking about this. And one thing that your clients or your prospects will tell you is they need to think about something. All that means is they want to stop thinking about it right now. So are they procrastinating? If so, you have to call them out. If they're constantly in the, that cycle of procrastination, they are actually in the process of ruining their own life for no apparent reason. So when are they going to get started? Today? Tomorrow? Never? Remember, procrastination is just lying to yourself. So just like we have a partner conversation with our agents and advisors, you also have to have those client and prospect conversations, because you have to know how to cut through this. People have fixed mindsets. People fear money. People love to procrastinate. You have to make them understand you are lying to yourself. You're setting yourself up with failure. If you want to do something, and if you want something, the time to act on it is now, today. When you are talking to people, outline it. What do you have to gain through this process? What do you have to lose through this process? And on the opposite side, what if you do? What if you don't? These questions, helping people understand, painting a picture of what could be or what's probably going to be if they do nothing, is extremely powerful. What would it be like? So if somebody gets to an end destination, not just financial numbers, what would it be like? What are you doing? What do you have? Who are you surrounding yourself with? How does it feel? All of these things. What would you do if you did accomplish what we're talking about right now? If we set in a course, a plan of action and execution, and we got you to your goals, what would it be like? What do you do? Who are you with? How does it feel? Paint the pictures. We always talk about facts tell, stories sell. Once you understand what they want, paint a picture of what it's going to be like when they're there. The emotional triggers, the emotional factors. Remember, we talked about this in previous weeks. People are emotional creatures. Yes, financial industry is all about numbers. It's all about calculations. It's all about equations. However, we're emotional creatures. So if we accomplish this stuff, what would it be like, and what would you do? If you get somebody to the point of thinking that they can accomplish something, and then you paint the picture, and then they're backing away, you have to call them out on this. So if you're selling products and services, hey, if this was free, would you commit to start using it today? And then if X date in the future, you were able to accomplish those goals we talked about, would this have been one of the most important conversations and purchase of your life? And then question 3, what's holding you back from getting to your goals? A lot of times people, once again, from having a fixed mindset, from fearing money, they're so afraid of making a terrible financial decision because maybe they have in the past. They're just taking no action in the future. They're just paralyzed. I'm not going to make this choice because I'm afraid of making bad decisions. But remember, making no decisions at all, not doing anything, is one of the worst things that somebody can do for their future. And numbers don't lie. Check the scoreboard. Where is somebody right now when you're speaking to them? Have they not even put much offense on the board? If so, you need to call them out on that. Numbers don't lie. You need to check the scoreboard. Scoreboard is on the health of how you're doing and also how you're doing against other people. Debt to wealth is a process, and people need to understand it's a process. It's not a magic trick. It's not a magic wand. It's a process with a plan of action, execution, and remember, you're in that process to ensure success as the coach, advisor, agent, however you're placing yourself. You need to learn how to read situations, and that means knowing what's going on with somebody. If you're talking to somebody and all of a sudden you figure out they're sending 30 to 40% of their net income to the bank, not to pay principal on their debt, but just in the form of pure interest, don't gloss over that fact. That is a very painful fact, and you have to get into a position to help them know, hey, if you continue down this road, we always say you're either working for the bank or you're working as the bank. In this situation, they're working for the bank. They want to continue on that. They want to keep giving their hard-earned money to the bank for no reason. That's fine. They don't need us, though. You have to identify what's holding them back and be able to explain how that's going to hold them back now and in the future, because if something's holding them back, if they're shackled to this big weight like debt or, whatever it is that they're struggling with, and if they don't unshackle themselves, they don't release themselves from this thing that's holding them back, they're always going to be held back. A lot of people have a misconception when they talk about net worth versus cash flow. What's more important? Improving your cash flow. I've talked to a lot of people with high net worth that are cash flow poor. Cash flow is the health of your business, of your family financial plan, whatever it is. Cash flow is the lifeblood of your finances. So cash flow is something that you need to concentrate on. Cash flow is like a river. Sometimes it's dammed up. And if it's dammed up, you have to find out why to unleash it. Once your cash flow is flowing, not in the direction of the bank, but in the direction of you, it frees you up for more opportunity to take advantage of things like asset accumulation. So once again, what is the problem with your potential prospect or client? What's the solution? Think about it, talk about it, but once again, paint the picture, the problem, the solution, how we get there, what they need to do, what the relationship looks like, iron it out for them. Remember, for every problem, there are solutions, and there's the obvious solution. So you're not trying to paint a picture of a solution, you're trying to paint a picture of the solution. Put yourself into the position where there's no other opportunity out there. There's no other choices. This is what they need to do to get what they want. They're in control. And that's one of the biggest areas that I think that we need to talk to them about, because their choices are going to have a direct impact on whether they get to where they want to go or they just drift into that unknown outcome. So they're in control. They get to make the decisions. Those decisions have consequences. They can't have it both ways. They can't just continue to do the same old things they've done that's got them to this point, which is not where they want to go. They have to take alternative action plans, alternative routes. They have to start working with people like you that can get them where it's this way or that way, but you can't have it both ways. As they're sitting there trying to figure this maze out, that's where you come in. You have to position yourself as someone who can help them get to their goals, get to their dreams, get to their financial destinations, plan out and execute something that's going to give them control, peace of mind, and the ability to do what they want to do with the other parts of their life. Remember, financial wellness is only a slice of the entire wellness pie. So what we do in that wellness space for the financial slice has a bleeding effect over into the other ones, either positive or negative, depending on how that goes. The combination of two things is going to greatly help your prospects and your clients get to where they want to go. Number one is the education. And then number two is the execution, the two E's, right? Education plus execution is going to make it happen. If they don't educate themselves and if they don't execute on that implementation of what they've learned, they're going to continue to shred dollars. And that is the best possible client for the bank. Bank loves to take advantage of us in a number of ways, and we talked about that before. So are they going to continue just to shred money, that hard-earned money, whether they're W-2, business owner, no matter what it is? They continue to shred dollars. They're going to be working a lot harder for their money than their money worked for them, because all of a sudden a good percentage of their money is now working directly for the bank. Changing your life is always possible. So this is another thing that you have to talk through people. No matter what age they are, changing their financial life is always possible. Your new life is going to cost your old one. In this case, when we're painting the picture, it's not a lot they have to give up. We're teaching them how to unlock the power of their money, unlock the power of their cash flow. So their old life may be debt burden, may be little to no cash flow coming in their direction. So a lot of the things they're giving up, they want to give up. So paint the picture there, and then stop waiting for things to happen. One of the biggest issues that we talked about before is procrastination. So just having things that you want with no plan of action execution, once again, is a wish. We're not granting wishes over here. We're making things happen. We're teaching people to go out and make them happen. You have to position yourself as the one big thing that can help them. Remember, the methods that we use, the education, the implementation, the technology. People have to believe that your method will work for them. Otherwise, they're not going to take the next action step. Once people believe that your method will work for them, they will pursue the means to implement that method. And then on the other side, you got to remove any objections or roadblocks that prevent people from believing that one big thing. What false beliefs do people have that make them think they can achieve their goal with the method that you teach? Once you've removed all those objections, and a lot of those will be preemptive, your one big thing must be true, and they're ready to take the next action step. It's time to introduce your offer. This is extremely important because, going back to what we talked about, if you have personas where you're talking to the same types of people every day with the same messages, this is going to be a lot easier than having to be that chameleon, having to have all these different types of conversations with different types of people. Make things easier on yourself. Dig into a persona and go after those types of people. And then teach them. Just like we teach ourselves and our partners, we have to teach our clients, what you're doing is not working. You need to stop doing what's not working and find something that is going to work. And a lot of the ways that we do this is helping them understand, and we've discussed this many times before, looking backwards. Hey, if you could give yourself financial advice 10 years ago, what would it be? I can't do anything about helping you from the regrets of the past. I can help you devise a plan of action and execution and a pathway to eliminate as much financial regrets of the future. So what's happened in the past, can't do anything about. What's going to happen in the future, we can definitely do something about. This is about how to get your clients' money right. And once they get their money right, like I said, financial wellness is a slice of the entire wellness pie. Now they can open up other doors and avenues to explore other parts of their life, which, when you're locked into thinking about how am I going to pay the mortgage, how am I going to pay these credit card bills, how am I going to pay these loans back, you can't think about anything else. Financial stress is 24/7. It's encompassing. It's like a prison. So we're trying to break out. And when people break out and get their money right, they live other parts of their life. It's not about living beyond their means. And I think in this country over the past, number of years, we have kept up with the Joneses, with social media. We're out there flaunting stuff that, a lifestyle we really don't have. So it's not about living beyond your means. It's about expanding beyond your means. It's about getting assets, making sure to set up yourself in the future so something's working besides you. People need to change their mindset around earning and spending. A lot of people spend and then we'll try to invest what's left over. Once again, that's not working. You have to call them out. They need to do the inverse. They need to invest on the front side, and then whatever's left over, spend. And then they need to use their engine or their growth engine for money to make more money, whether they're employee, whether they're business owner, whether they got a number of side hustles, however their growth engine for money is, they need to parlay that into making more money. And they need to do that by understanding, where do I put my money? A lot of people put money into consumption. That's 100% gone. You spend money, it's gone. And then a lot of the other things that we do is depreciating assets. We go out and buy the new cars, the boats, the stuff that we don't really need, might make an emotional trigger to give us some type of satisfaction for a small period of time. But that's stuff that's going to continually depreciate until it gets down to basically zero. So now we're left with the two assets that people battle with. Appreciating assets are things that people buy, hold, and then sell in the future. And their whole philosophy around this appreciating asset is somebody's going to pay me more in the future than I bought for it today. Well, that's not a real plan of action that is going to give you the most control. The most control comes from cash flow assets. I'm going to get paid to hold this asset while I'm holding it. And then in the future, if I decide to sell it, great. People have two important things that really will make or break their financial future. That's time and money. So if they have that on their side and that plan includes how much time and how much money, and they've got that planned out, great. If they don't, the high cost of waiting, not paying ourselves first, not understanding the rule of 72, not understanding about how money works is going to greatly be a negative and a shackle holding us back from achieving those goals, destinations, and dreams. Another advanced philosophy of the education that we teach is arbitrage. So a lot of people think that, hey, I've got to get all this stuff done before I can start accumulating assets and taking advantage of that. Well, you don't. When you start to learn how money makes money and how to work as the bank instead of for the bank, you understand that arbitrage can take place at the same time. You can do a lot of these things at the same time if you have, once again, an effective plan of action and execution that incorporates and understands and puts into the strategy all of these things that can benefit you. It really comes down to three things in the open marketplace in the financial services industry when you're talking about sinking or swimming, helping your clients navigate this new financial environment. They're thinking about constantly, or they should be thinking about, how do I win? You're going to come in and teach them, this is how you win. This is how you do it. And once you understand how to do it, what are you going to do about it? So once I've taught you how to win, once I've given you kind of solved the puzzle for free, showed you how to get this stuff done, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to go back to your old ways? Well, that's going to be the best plan of action for you, but you have to understand that's not going to get you anything. That's going to be a lifetime of financial stress. And that stress will create relationship stress, health stress. There's a lot of things that are byproducts or trickle downs of either having your finances in a good order or having your finances in a terrible order. Remember, taking responsibility for your finances, or you have to get used to taking orders for the rest of your life. You're either a master of your money or a slave to it. Once again, their choice, right? And then secondarily, money's a scoreboard. We talked about this. Numbers don't lie. You have to check the scoreboard. How are we doing against, our past selves? And also, how are we doing against other people? Money's a part of life. Money's choices. Money is a mental game. So we lead with education. We lead with replacing that bad data with good data to help them now make buying decisions that are based on factual information that will help them versus just stuff that's not right, bad information, stuff they learn from people that have no financial experience. If there's a financial stress or a sickness in this country, you need to position yourself in the marketplace with a cure. Being a sucker is a choice. Stop being a sucker is also a choice. So this is the defining line, right? We're trying to teach people that you have to create something and have a legitimate path to get there, or you continue to be a sucker, drift in, stay with the herd, and unfortunately, watch what happens. Another thing is nobody's coming to save these people. Social Security will have to change, including the payouts and eligibility age. I teach people if you're under the age of 50, you shouldn't even be counting on Social Security in your retirement. If it's there, great. It's icing on the cake. But if you haven't counted on it, you've got a plan of action, and you take care of yourself, then it won't be a huge piece of the pie that's missing. People are going to have to work longer if they follow that kind of paradigm or the old paradigm versus the paradigm shift. Retirement's not an age if you plan and prepare. And that's one of the biggest misconceptions is with the introduction of Social Security, retirement was 62, retirement was 65, retirement 67. Retirement's not an age. It's a financial condition. And you can get there at a much earlier age if you plan and prepare. Also, once again, nobody's coming to help you on terms of long-term care unless you're, in a poverty-stricken state. Only government assistance is available for low income through Medicaid. How many of us are going to need long-term care? 70+%. And also taxes. Are you going to work real hard and put your money into something that Uncle Sam is just going to attack in the future? The CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, tells us how much taxes need to rise to pay off this debt. If you're just going to kick the can down the road and let Uncle Sam raid your retirement, that's up to you. But that's not a good plan of action. This is the first time in history going forward that your retirement tax rate will be higher than your working tax rate. So once again, if you're okay just writing that check and giving your money to Uncle Sam, or most of it, you don't need us. Challenges equal opportunities. Position yourself as someone with solutions to today's problems in the new financial environment. There's two main factors that your clients need to be aware of, or your prospects need to be aware of in this new financial environment. They need to be aware of possibilities, and then they need to live their life with possibilities and potential. Consistency is going to be the king, and the key. How do we keep our clients consistent? We use technology. We don't leave it up to them, right? We put everything in place that's going to make sure that we have a plan of action, we have execution, and we have the consistency to see it through the end. We have to dig deep into people's numbers. And if they're uncomfortable with that, they're not going to be your client. If they're not bringing everything to the table, if they're not having open discussions, if they're not letting you into all of their financial information, then you need to cut ties, cut bait, and move on. We are looking to help people. If someone doesn't want to be helped, that's a disqualifier. And then also, as you're speaking to people, understand the top 14 power words for sales success. So yes, this is all about navigating the new financial environment. This is also about putting solutions in place. They're going to help people navigate that to an end successful outcome. Financial freedom is not something that we just, arrive at unexpectedly or without a plan of action. So if somebody wants a future desired end outcome, that starts today. That starts with a plan of action and execution, understanding where we're trying to get. Remember, going into a car, the GPS cannot tell you where you want to go until you have physical location A, where you are now, physical location B, where you want to go. Then it can map it out. Same thing here with your money. Where's your client's money right now? Where does your client's money want to be in the future? And what's the shortest, most efficient, quickest route to get them there? Income producing activities or income producing assets to grow your wealth is how you find financial freedom. Once we get rid of sending our net income to the bank for pure profit, once we get rid of our debt obligations and we free up our cash flow, we can start getting income producing assets to grow our wealth and put us in a position to gain financial freedom. Financial freedom is when these assets that give you passive income, when that passive income can cover your standard of living at X, that's financial freedom in our book. So how does money flow freely to me? If it looks like this on the left side, you're in a good position. If it looks like this on the right side, you're not in a good position. And once again, people have misconceptions going forward about their ability to continue to work, their ability to earn money, or their ability for, if they're employed, a company to want to hold them and keep them after a certain age. This is all about just continuing to either burn through money, or this is continuing to understand the power of your money, how to accumulate it, and how to use it as a tool to buy your freedom. Like we just talked about. Who ends up working? Is it you or your assets? And once again, if somebody just thinks they're going to continue to work, there's a lot of factors, health factors. The company can get rid of you. So who ends up working for money? You or your assets? And if it's you, you have little to no control over that. If it's your assets, you have maximum control. Agency in motion, managing, building, and operating agencies in today's new financial environment.